Good evening, my friends, and welcome to Wednesday night live stream. I see on the message board that Ed F. message retracted. I hope he didn't retract himself. Well, you see me in my lumberman's flannel outfit tonight. It's 60 degrees and foggy and a little chilly in Carmel land. This is the time of the year, usually July and August, where it heats up so marvelous in the interior of the United States that it pulls all of this cold air off the ocean and we get the chilly, chilly fog and breeze. So that makes it comfortable in one way. We're not cooking like so many people. As you all well know, our work is about the magic and the mystery of the star tetrahedron, the mystical marriage of the divine masculine of power, power being not the way it's been demonstrated in the world as manipulation, control, but the focusing of mind to be attention and intention, excuse me, which then creates light, pure light. The lower triangulation of a divine feminine love is then the imagination and feeling. And as the light shines through imagination and feeling, it ripples out into the world and then holographically creates reality that then precipitates into physical manifestation. It's a very important part of our work. And the reason why is this last several weeks I've been doing quite a lot of work with clients, private clients, doing sessions. And many of these individuals were quite illuminated. You might say they were somewhat highly knowledgeable, had done a lot of studying, were spiritually inclined. And so they carried lots of light within the aura and really emanated a very beautiful, often loving, creative, spiritual, giving, dynamic energy. But when you look at an aura like that and you see that it's mostly white light or the light of knowledge, if you look a little closer, you can see behind these individuals, about 2 or 3 feet, there's usually a shadow. And that shadow is simply a part of themselves that they have not yet learned to love. They act with integrity, they have great joy giving, sharing. But if there's still unconscious emotion held within the unconscious part of the being, the body, it then sits behind us. And even though we've used the mind to understand it, to, we might say, reconcile it, even, you might say, even forgive it, it still lingers back there because our work is a little bit deeper in that we learn to go into that which we call the darkness. The darkness is simply emotion. Whenever within creation something wasn't unconditionally loved and accepted, it then creates a judgment, it creates criticism, it creates an energy wave that creates a negative energy spiral, which creates darkness. And so darkness isn't bad, it's simply lack of love. And if we're still using the mind to think about what happened to us, trying to understand it, that can be part of our awakening and it can be a very important part. So we're not being, again, disparaging of it, but we're simply bringing another level of possibilities to it. And that possibility is the golden light, because the white light of mind, of even high spirituality, it has a tendency to take an individual into the upper realms of the high frequencies. But true enlightenment is bringing the light down in and through the body and then marrying it with that which we call the darkness physicality. Um, the physical body, it's a mother, mater, and as we then marry together that which is the light and the matter, it then creates golden light, which is the mystical marriage, which is the star tetrahedron. We call it the Christ matrix because it has been able to go, excuse me, into the darkness, into the unconscious, and feel the emotion, not judge it, not criticize it, not dislike it. And so we're not going into the darkness as the mind, as the thinking instrument. We have surrendered the mind. We have brought it into a place of silence, and it's then focused upon that which is the soul, the golden aspect of harmony, balance, perfection that we already are. And as we are then seeing, feeling, allowing the golden light of the soul to flow down in and through, we can then allow it to go into the emotion, not judging it, not criticizing it, not disliking it. But when we do that and even symbolically put it on and even tasting, feeling, experiencing the emotion, the sadness, the fear, the hate, the worthlessness, if we gently feel it, but then we slip a little bit deeper inside of it, we will always find a part of ourself that was not unconditionally loved. And there's no judgment, there's no criticism about situations growing up that may have been part of that scenario. It's a choice we made in order to learn how we maybe in the past have erred, how we've done something that was um, maybe harmful to another, or anger, or hatred, or even brutality. And so we come back and we experience it as culture, as family, as religious indoctrination, many different ways, but it creates an emotion. And the emotion is created within that childlike part of us because the mind doesn't develop until age 7. And so until that time, the child is simply like a open feeling sponge. And whatever's going on, it simply settles into the energy field of the child, and then it believes that must be me. Something's wrong with me. And when we feel that, the first emotion is fear. Fear that I'm not going to survive, fear that I will not be nurtured. And so fear is then the primal feeling when love is withdrawn. There's a wonderful book out there that said there's only two emotions, there's love and there's fear. Well, in one way, I agree with that because fear is simply lack of love. And when we have fear, it then causes a feeling of sadness. It gives rise to grief, to depression, to loneliness, to worthlessness. And if we're then mired in that for some time, it gives rise to frustration. We're now frustrated that we're feeling that way. If it continues, we then can get angry and then even hate it. But once again, that's just an emotion that says, I dislike being in this cage of limitation. I'm hating what's happening to me over and over again. And once again, as we feel those emotions, we're not judging someone, we're not criticizing someone, we're acknowledging that that happened. That's the key word. We're acknowledging it that it happened. But once again, we're acknowledging it by feeling it, not thinking about it, not with the mind examining it, wanting to know the story, who did what, where, when, how, and why. The mind can reconcile it, but then it simply pushes it in back of us into the back of the aura. And the childlike part of us is not really living 100% in and through us. We may have great integrity. We may have even be a member of society that's exalted. But if that childlike part of us, which is joy and creativity and imagination, adventure, and literally childlike splendor, the magic of a child, when that's living in and through us, it shows that we have then finally embraced the emotion, the darkness. We've gone through it and we have so powerfully loved this childlike part of us, we have reparented it. And what is the parent within our work? It's the light of the Father, which is just simply the focusing of attention. It's the love of the mother, which is imagination and feeling. And so it creates then the golden liquid light that flows down into the body. It then from the heart chakra moves in and through this childlike self, feels the darkness, feels the separation. The golden light of this Christ matrix then simply slips in and through and literally births the child anew. Of course, this is what we call the Immaculate Conception. It is the birth of the Christ child within us. And it is then the joy, it's the magic, it's the childlike splendor that each day begins to grow more and more in and through us as we are able to settle a little bit deeper into the subtleties of emotion and again slip beneath it and find the child. Every time we do that, we're literally impregnating the child with more light, which then allows even more of the light of the soul to enter from on high down into the physical body. It begins to change the frequency of the physical form to vibrate to more of that which is the soul, the golden being of light you truly are. And then this is how we then move from where we are as human into the human divine beings that are now awakening on the planet. And so it was quite wonderful to work with these several individuals because they really were at the forefront, you see, of bringing light and the possibilities of stepping into this new paradigm. But there was one small key yet, see, that they were still looking for, that they were still hoping to find in order to really create this light activation within. And then really, if you will, experience that feeling of I am childlike magic. I am the light. And when we feel that, that is then the sunlight of the source energy that then emanates from out of the heart. We become the living light. And as we then are in that place of radiance, everything that we do, we're walking through the marketplace, we're with our friends, we're with our loved ones, we're cooking, we're at our job, we're emanating this great feeling of love and peace and childlike joy, and everything then around us is being activated. It's being infused with this new vibration. And we know this is the way that we're going to bring harmony and balance to the world by fighting against what's happening or disliking it. Whatever we're disliking or judging, it's a reflection of something inside that we are unconsciously disliking or judging. As we use it as a signpost, what's the emotion I'm feeling there? Bring it back in, bring the golden light down, feel that emotion. Don't judge it, slip through it. Find that childlike part of you that is looking for the soul that created it, the soul that birthed it into this dimension. This is what we call when the soul literally brings part of itself down into time, space, being crucified on the cross of materiality. But this is the great possibility you see of becoming enlightened. Because when we're crucified upon the cross of materiality, the right is the masculine, the left is the feminine, above is the light, below is the darkness of Mother Earth. And as we're then bringing all those back into sacred union, they meet in the heart. This is the star tetrahedron, the Christ matrix. We become the sons and the daughters of light. And then we literally emanate light on earth. This changes the frequency. This begins to create the new paradigm. And so with effortless joy and ease, you see, we're simply creating this new wave of light and life from us. So I'd like to encourage you to be very, if again, watchful, maybe perceptive would be a better word, of emotions that might arise, not to dislike them, not to judge them, but be willing to quietly sit with them and feel them, and then gently slip through them. Find that childlike part of you. We're not thinking about the emotion. We're not examining why did it happen. We're bringing in the light of the soul, and we're simply holding the childlike part. We're holding the emotion. And as we then slip through it and bring love, love is the great healer. There's two emotions. There's fear, there's love. When we bring love, fear is dispelled. And then there's no longer darkness within the aura. We have mastered it. We now are the light, the dark, the masculine, the feminine. We are the mystical marriage. So a very exciting work we're doing together. And of course, this is the symbol of the star tetrahedron. It is the divine masculine, which is the focusing of light, that which we would call the father. Beneath the mother, which we call the womb of creation. So here is the light of the Father that shines into the womb of creation, the mother. It identifies that which is coming forth, and then through the open doorway, the Christ matrix spins it forth into holographic reality. And so we become that mystical marriage. And as we stand at that doorway with the opening within the heart chakra, spirit, source, the womb of mother is now breathing out of us. And as we focus the light, imagine and feel, we then create holographic peace, harmony, and joy. So that is the beauty and the magic of the star tetrahedron. One of the ways in which we enliven our work is through our breath, the breath meditation. And what we're doing, you see, as we do the so hum, the so is the in breath. But we're not only bringing in oxygen, but equally important, we're summoning from out of the heart chakra spirit. And so this is the open doorway, the heart. And it's where source spirit arises forth from out of the Christ matrix. And so the so, the in breath, pure source energy arising forth. We sit quietly with it. And then as we out breathe, we're seeing sparkling, effervescent, liquid golden light coming from us. Once again, back to the in breath, calling and summoning source. Out breath, liquid golden light, sparkling, effervescent through the body, all the world, everyone around us. One of the things that's so beautiful about this is that is exactly what we're doing. You see in our meditation, as we are then sitting quietly, each in breath in meditation is bringing spirit from out of the open doorway. And as we sit quietly, then the star tetrahedron is spinning it into holographic sunlight and peace. Once again, back to the open doorway, breathing, always being conscious of breathing in source, breathing out liquid, sparkling, golden light. Thus, we can say, I am the light. So let's do about 5 minutes of the Soham breath. I like to do the Soham breath with eyes open. That way I can practice it driving, walking, gardening. So let's go ahead and do 5 minutes of Soham breath. We like to have the spinal column nice and erect. It is the rod of initiation. So once again, breathing in. Exhale, sparkling, effervescent golden light. And a couple of more slow, deep breaths, summoning spirit from the open doorway within the heart. I am the light. And slowly returning back into the now. The star tetrahedron is a creation of consciousness and light and imagination. The consciousness, of course, is the light of the mind that focuses attention. And so if we bring a line straight back from the middle point of the head, we then are at the area of the pineal pituitary gland, which is the light of the soul. As we then focus the light, we simply bring it down to the heart chakra at the sternum, and we then bring forth the feminine of imagination, feeling, and we imagine, feel the star tetrahedron around, completely in and through us. And as it is turning rapidly, we know that it is opening a sacred doorway within the very center of the chest, the heart chakra. And from out of it, spirit is arising forth, touching the facets of the spinning star, become liquid golden light, the radiance of sunlight and peace around, through, everywhere present. So let's go ahead and close the eyes and feel the body relaxing. And we can be aware of the breath. It is the breath that summons source from the open doorway, breathing in. And then we bring our attention between the eyebrows. Drawing a line straight back to the approximate center point of the head, we ignite the light of the soul. Holding attention here, light increasing, filling the mind with sunlight and peace. We focus the light to the heart chakra at the sternum and illuminate the star tetrahedron. Whatever size feels comfortable. It's more important to feel the open doorway within the very center of the chest, the heart chakra. And arising forth is spirit. Touching the facets of the spinning star, the Christ matrix, and spinning out liquid golden light, filling the body, flowing out into the world. I am the light. Let's sit quietly together, and I will join with you and bring us all into the one light.
Mm.
very easily now, slowly coming back more and more into the moment of the now. One of the beautiful things about the star tetrahedron meditation and becoming the golden light, one is simply radiating radiant sunlight. And so the doing is no longer about accomplishing or making. It's simply becoming the sunlight, which then attracts back to us peace and joy and happiness and prosperity. And so we create even more joy and peace and happiness just by being the sunlight. And if we practice our meditation, hopefully twice a day, we culture like a jewel. We keep polishing, refining, honing until we then are the open doorway. And from it, literally, there is this rising forth of the liquid living waters. It's why Jesus, who mastered the Christ field, was able to say, I am the living water. And this is, again, a true statement that when the doorway opens and the living waters of source pour forth, we then focus the light, and with imagination and feeling, we then use it to create reality. And because we have refined ourselves with to be the masculine of perfect balance, the feminine of great love, that is the oneness of the Father sky beneath and Mother Earth below. We then live in oneness with all creation. It's our body. And so all that we do is of love, it's of giving, it's of sharing, because we're simply giving to ourselves 24/7 with just like the sun, the liquid living light. So it becomes quite blissful, but yet very, very dynamic. Of course, I want to thank you for joining tonight and this marvelous gathering of light-filled energy. Very, very dynamic. I just felt such a radiance and a beautiful energy field, gathering us all together in harmony and oneness and creating another level of consciousness and really movement on the planet into this new dimension. So I look forward to seeing you in August, September. September coming up quickly, and then it will be October in time for the pumpkins. And I'll get out my pumpkin shirt rather than my lumberjack shirt. All right, my friends, thank you so very much for being with me. And if I can do anything to assist you on your journey, please let me know. I'm always here to serve. Blessings, my friends.